XRP Bank Activation. Folks, we just got the final vote to push us over the 80% threshold for permission domains, an amendment that's being brought to the XRP ledger to allow permissioned environments for institutions to build on top of the XRP ledger. This is one of the key pillars that the XRP ledger needed built out and added to bring banks and other institutions onto the XRP ledger. Many people have been asking, where are the banks, the institutions? Well, we're waiting for the Clarity Act to pass. That's part of it. But then we're also getting our ledger ready to go. And so in today's video, we're going to break it down. If you appreciate what we're doing, please help us out by liking this video, sharing it out far and wide. And all of our community resources are available at ZachRector.com. We got the scoop from Eleanor Terrett. Senate Ag Committee poised to reveal latest crypto bill text. Banking is in a holding pattern on its markup, and they were supposed to have their markup vote last week. They delayed that as well, and we still don't have a date from the Senate Banking Committee on when they're going to be doing markup, but Senate Ag is expected to move forward with its vote next week, January 27th, and release the latest legislative text by close of business today. So when that comes out later today, I'll be printing it out, and you can expect a breakdown of that either late tonight or tomorrow. We'll be breaking that one down and see what text they have changed or included in this recent move here by Senate Ag. So we have the two committees, Senate Ag, Senate Banking. They both are going to do markup, which is where you bring the text forward. You mark up parts of the bill, take some out, add some here, have a little bit of debate. And I want to see these politicians get on record. That's what I'm excited for. So we're going to be waiting to see, and we really need the Senate Ag to move forward with this. If they delay this again or stall out here, then that could cause the Senate Banking to also stop their progress on the bill. That would be the worst case scenario. So hopefully, Senate Ag will release their text, markup vote next week, and we'll get that ball rolling, because that's one of the big holdups for why banks are not activated and live on the XRP ledger and other blockchains as well. This isn't just hurting XRP, this is hurting our entire crypto space. So that's the scoop. We'll have some more coverage for you later today or tomorrow on that. President Trump at the World Economic Forum. Let's run the clip.
To unleash innovation in savings and financing, I'm also working to ensure America remains the crypto capital of the world. And to that end, last year, I signed the landmark Genius Act into law. Now Congress is working very hard on crypto market structure legislation, Bitcoin, all of them, which I hope to sign very soon, unlocking new pathways for Americans to reach financial freedom.
Absolutely love to see it. And I love the representation that we have from America, whether it be President Trump going there, Howard Lutnick going there, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent going there to show that America is not going to bend over anymore to these globalists that have tried to basically take over our country, right? Going there to say that globalization, that process, that movement, that structure is being done away with, right? It's the same thing as Brad Garlinghouse going to represent the XRP family at the World Economic Forum, right? I'm a strong fan of us sending our delegates, whether it be President Trump, Howard Lutnick, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, or when it comes to crypto, Brad Garlinghouse, sending them to the World Economic Forum, getting them in the room, and then speaking on behalf of all Americans and all investors in the digital asset space. Now, we have President Trump's crypto czar, David Sachs, says, after market structure passes, banks will get fully into crypto. Let's run the clip.
A little bit unhappy, right? But I think what's going to happen is that after market structure passes, the banks are going to get fully into the crypto industry. So we're not going to have a separate banking industry and crypto industry. It's going to be one digital assets industry. And I think
will they be regulated
their opinions are going to evolve over time. And I bet you over time, the banks like the idea of paying yield because they're going to be in the stablecoin business.
But will they also be regulated the same way? And I guess that's a big, the banks will say, hey, if they get to do all the same things we do, how come they don't get regulated the same way?
Well, I guess because they're offering slightly different products, right? Yeah. So, but everyone offering the same product should be regulated in the same way, and we want to get to that harmonization.
And this is exactly what Brad Garlinghouse and the adults in the room have been saying this whole time. It's not that we're asking not to be regulated. We want regulation. We want rules of the road, common sense regulation, and we don't want to be attacked while we wait for this, regulation and law to pass into law. That's why we have the red folder. That's what we've been up against. And it seems that we're very close. The light at the end of the tunnel is there, and you love to see it. Now, David Sachs speaking on, America and how banks will fully get into crypto digital assets after the market structure bill. But in the meantime, we already have banks joining the party outside of the United States of America. That would be DXC partners with Ripple to empower global banks with scalable digital asset custody and payments. DXC, which I'd never heard of this bank before, but apparently they got some money. They're going to be integrating Ripple's institutional-grade blockchain technology into its Hogan core banking platform, which supports $5 trillion in deposits and 300 million accounts globally. The collaboration enables financial institutions to bridge legacy finance with enterprise blockchain-based solutions without disrupting core banking infrastructure. So $5 trillion in deposits, 300 million accounts globally, now activated and tapped in to Ripple payments, which does include XRP. Absolutely love to see it. And when we get this market structure in the United States, that's when the American banks can fully come out. But in the meantime, we covered this all through the lawsuit. While Ripple was being attacked and under the lawsuit in the US, they were growing on-demand liquidity, and banks and institutions and payment providers were joining the Ripple network. We're partnering up with Ripple. We're using XRP through on-demand liquidity. And that was all happening, all that growth outside of the United States. After this market structure passes, then we're activating the banks within the US. So we have bank activation taking place already outside of the US. The big US market unlock, that's right around the corner. Another partnership here, Binance will be listing Ripple USD and introduce a zero trading fee promotion for RLUSD. This is starting on Ethereum, RLUSD on Ethereum, but they're going to be going live with RLUSD on XRP Ledger here shortly as well too. And this is so important, folks. You have to understand, Binance and all of these centralized exchanges, they might have XRP listed, but they're not listing XRP Ledger tokens. This would be tokens like RLUSD. This would be, XRP meme coins. But what we're waiting for, and we started to see this process, is more legitimate issuers, more reputable issuers of real-world assets on the XRP Ledger. Think tokenized bonds, equities, private equity, derivatives, precious metals, real estate, etc. We want to see those real-world assets tokenized on the XRP Ledger, but many of these centralized exchanges hadn't done the full integration process to be able to list XRP tokens. And it's not even a difficult process at that. But they have Solana tokens listed, they have Ethereum layer 2s listed, but we've gotten no love from the centralized exchanges like Binance up until now. And that all changes with this integration of RLUSD on Ethereum and XRP Ledger coming to Binance. Zero trading fee promotion for RLUSD. You absolutely love to see it on the world's largest exchange. That's Binance. Love to see it. So massive. Now, speaking of activation, we just officially entered the activation period for the permission domains amendment. For those of you guys who don't know how this works, we have our validators on the XRP Ledger. They have to reach an 80% consensus to move the ledger forward when it comes to consensus and approving the next block of transactions. And we need an 80% consensus when it comes to approving amendments, and whether that be a fixed amendment or whether that be an additional amendment like permission domains that's adding features and programmability to the XRP Ledger. So we officially just crossed over. I noted here, glad to see XP Market switch their vote and activated this amendment. Not so happy with XP Market and others playing politics. I'm just going to make a quick comment on that. I'm not very happy about that. XP Market, Dr. Arthur, I'm not impressed with that move here. We could have had permission domains a lot sooner, but they held it up for political reasons because they wanted batch transactions, which we need batch. Batch is coming on the way. But don't hold up the ledger for politics. Same thing taking place in DC. We don't like it. Let's not do that. I'm glad that we can put this matter to rest and move forward, but I just had to make a quick comment on that. I am watching. Okay? Permission domains, absolutely massive. because it allows banks, institutions, and other corporates or anybody else to come in to a permissioned environment on the XRP ledger. And the banks and the institutions need this. They can't be in a liquidity pool that has a terrorist actor, bad actor on the other side of the liquidity pool. Can't have it. And so if you want to see banks and institutions to start using this technology, right, you need the permissioned access. You need that permission environment. And this is the first process. So permission domains has crossed over that 80% threshold. It's in the activation period. Once that happens, it starts a 2-week countdown. So as long as these votes hold, then this amendment will go live by February 4th. Okay? So when I title the video XRP Bank Activation, this is what I'm talking about. Banks are now partnering up with Ripple outside of the US. A lot of banks in the US waiting to go live as soon as the Clarity Act passes. And then in the meantime, I've talked about this in some recent videos. We need to get our XRP ledger up to date, right? This is not just reliant upon Ripple. Ripple already had voted yes on this. Ripple's already done significant testing on this. They've been speaking out publicly to get this approved. But it takes all of our validators coming together, or at least 80% of them, to pass the amendment and to get it to go live. And so massive permission domains. The follow-up to that is permission DEX. That is another amendment that's being voted on right now. We get that across the finish line. And there's a couple other amendments like batch and token escrow that we're looking to get passed here soon as well. And these amendments, along with credentials, we have lending on the way. All of this is getting our XRP ledger ready to go for the biggest banks in the world and also for a thriving retail DeFi ecosystem. We absolutely love to see it. And I'll tell you what I love to see this morning, a buying opportunity on XRP that I took advantage of. Full disclosure, I bought the dip. That's right. Taking a look here at XRP on the hourly chart, you can see on Sunday we got that big pull down and that wick down to $1.85. We run it back up to 202, 203, and then we consolidate back down here. And we set a higher low. That was yesterday, Tuesday, at about $1.86. And then this morning we come on down to $1.87 once again. And I just made a buy order adding to my XRP long at $1.88. That's right. I bought the dip, and I let my Discord group know about that right away, as always. I let them know in real time when I'm making a move, and so I explained the full move and why I made it there with the Discord group. If you're looking to get tapped in over there, you sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. We'd love to have you in the family. I don't do signals. I don't give financial advice. I just explain and share in real time the moves that I'm making. You know how quickly this market moves, so this is why you got to stay tapped in. Now, folks, I want to let you guys know I Trust Capital has you covered. If you're looking for a platform to secure your cryptocurrency, your precious metals, and an IRA, they have that covered along with their premium custody account. They're linked up at the top of the description. And when you use my link, you'll get that $100 funding bonus. Get tapped in with them along with all of our other community resources to make sure you can get the job done. You can execute on your objectives here in the digital asset space. I appreciate all of your support on the way out. If you could like this video, we'd greatly appreciate that. And we'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.